Hi there. Later, a big, gay sound machine.
He's terribly butch. He gets it from his mother.
But first, Taiwan says it'll now recognise same-sex marriages involving a Chinese person. This hasn't been a thing up to now because of long-standing beef between the two countries, and that sentence is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Couples can register in Taiwan, but the marriage itself has to happen in a third country. Isiburo Ariyoshi is there with his husband and tells Taiwan Plus News he's all for dropping restrictions.
More people can be happy, right? Because more people can get married in the future. And this is about human rights. We are all equal.
Same-sex marriage has been legal in Taiwan since 2019. China's yet to catch up. It's Bi Visibility Day, when all the bisexuals are made to put on high-vis jackets so we can clearly identify them. Yeah, not really. The day's been marked since 1999 to raise awareness and challenge stereotypes. And a fun fact, among the people who had the idea for this is Michael Page, who designed the bisexual flag. And we'll finish with possibly my favourite thing this year. Behold, the That's So Gay sound machine.
Let's get one thing straight. I'm not. This old thing? Oh, I've had it for days. Look at you, Miss Thing.
No, you're a gay stereotype. This is doing the rounds on TikTok right now, thanks to user Chuck Dayton. He's recorded himself playing all 25 options. Here's a few more.
It's not homophobia, sugar. Everyone hates you. What happens in Gagus stays in Gagus. Holla at you later, homo.
Chuck's videos now had well over 1 million views. A few more of these on our socials. You'll find links in the podcast description. Hi there. Later, why Jonathan Bailey's got an award, and it's not just for being delicious. We'll start, though, with the very anti-LGBTQ+ politician in America and claims of his fondness for transgender pornography. Republican Governor Mark Robinson denying a report from CNN. He was posting about this on an adult website 10 years ago. Surely can't be true, though, because that would make the evangelical Christian a big ol' hypocrite, especially when he's regularly spouting this kind of hate.
Ain't nothing but men and women. If there's a movement in this country that is demonic and that is full of the spirit of Antichrist, it is the transgender movement. You ain't changed what God put in you, that DNA.
Thanks to CBS 17 for that. I do worry about his blood pressure. Senior members of Robinson's staff have quit over the CNN claims. They've been absolutely fine with his years and years of queer bashing, but liking trans porn is a step too far. New punishments in the Seychelles for LGBTQ+ hate crimes. It's a fine and up to 3 years in prison for attacks linked to someone's sexuality, gender identity, or HIV status, and hate speech is now an offence there as well. And an award for Jonathan Bailey after raising more than £33,000 for a queer charity. The gay Bridgerton and fellow Travellers star ran a half marathon in London for Just Like Us. They support LGBTQ+ young people. He's been honoured at the Just Giving Awards, also in London, as their celebrity fundraiser of the year. And you can still donate if you'd like. There's a link in the podcast description. Hi there. Later, the end is nigh for Heartstopper. But first, how best to deal with pro football players using anti-LGBTQ+ language. It's led to quite a few bans this year in the main Australian league, but gay South Melbourne FC striker Andy Brennan tells the Football v Homophobia podcast there is the opportunity for something more constructive.
People just getting banned and there's no communication on why that ban's come about. I just don't see how that's going to help other people understand why it's bad. It's not going to help create conversations around the dinner table of why it's bad. And they're the things that essentially you need to do, because without that, you're not changing people's opinions.
Andy's one of just 5 out professional male players in the world. The 31-year-old studying for a psychology degree so he can better understand why this is. Canada's 1 million March for Children against LGBTQ plus education hasn't quite attracted that many people. Most protest venues across the country saw less than 100, with counter-demonstrations outnumbering them. The campaign coordinated with a group called Hands Off Our Kids. They'd been saying as many as 2 million would take part. It's the kind of optimism that's almost adorable. And the author of Heartstopper has written 50 pages of the final graphic novel. Alice Oseman says she's excited to wrap things up between Nick and Charlie and their friends, but it's also bittersweet. The 29-year-old, who identifies as aromantic and asexual, reckons it's very sad, but it's also time. No, it isn't, Alice. I'm not ready. Hi there. Later, the first out trans Paralympian on competing in the next Games. But first, same-sex marriage has been legalised in Thailand. The King has now endorsed a marriage equality bill that was passed by Parliament earlier this year. It comes into effect in January. Human rights advocate Mukdapa Yangyuan Pradon tells ABC News Australia the message this sends is important.
It's telling that you cannot just only see heterosexual couples now. There are couples of people of all genders in Thailand that you cannot neglect that they exist. It will also opens up for more level of acceptance and less discrimination.
This makes Thailand the first country in Southeast Asia to recognise same-sex marriage. The new law also provides adoption and inheritance rights. Conversion therapy has been banned in South Australia. It means anyone who tries to change or suppress a person's gender identity or sexuality could get 5 years in prison. There are also fines of up to $15,000. The Equality Australia organisation says it underlines queer people aren't broken and we don't need fixing. And the first ever out transgender athlete at the Paralympics is already thinking about the next Games. Italy's Valentina Petrillo reached the semis of the women's 400 metres earlier this month in Paris. The 50-year-old, who's visually impaired, says she hasn't yet reached her physical limit, and she's now got her eye on the Los Angeles Paralympics in 2028, by which time I may finally have gotten around to cleaning the bathroom. Hi there. Later, Will Ferrell and his close friends transition. We'll start, though, with good old Saudi Arabia, where gay sex can get you executed and being trans is illegal. The country's almost certainly going to be hosting the World Cup in 2034, because it's the only one to apply. But the guy in charge of their bid, Hamad Al-Balawi, tells Sky Sports News queer people should go to the tournament.
We welcome all fans. We respect the privacy of all of our guests. People need to educate themselves about the kingdom, and the best way to do that is to come and visit.
Yeah, just pop yourself back in the closet while you're there. Al-Balawi also denies accusations Saudi's using the World Cup to distract from its terrible human rights record. Ending up with dementia might be more likely if you're queer. Some research from America's Yale University finds we're 15% more at risk of what's referred to as negative brain health outcomes, and the chance of having a stroke is 68% greater for transgender women. No firm reasons why, but it might be linked to stress, medication, or barriers to accessing healthcare. And Will Ferrell's documentary about his close friend's transition is out on Netflix today. The comedian's known Harper Steele for more than 30 years, since they worked together on Saturday Night Live. She came out as trans in 2022. Will and Harper sees the pair on a road trip across America as they try to navigate this new stage in their relationship. We're also on your smart speaker. Implore it to play the latest Pride Daily. I'm Kev McGrath. See you Monday.